From the director, James Wan, the man who brought to you the original 2004 Saw, Dead Silence, Death Sentence, Insidious 1 and 2, The Conjuring 1 and 2, now brings you the horrifying Aquaman.
If you like Jurassic Park.
If you like Thor.
If you like Finding Nemo.
If you like Lord of the Rings.
If you like Godzilla.
CGI hair.
CGI face.
CGI fights.
CGI capes.
CGI explosions.
CGI water.
There was a lot of CGI water. Fish people.
Fish sticks.
Crab people.
People who live underwater that are drowning.
Epic battles.
And tridents.
People drowning, not underwater.
Like people don't drown underwater?
The Atlanteans were.
You think you're unworthy to lead because you're of two different worlds.
They're not going to see our faces during this.
Damn it.
It's going to be the trailer with our voices over it. 17 movies all rolled into one. Too long of a movie.
2 hours and 30 minutes.
At least. Then Aquaman's the movie for you.
Yeah.
Another word, fuck it. Oh, man. Yeah, Aquaman, the movie for you. What'd you think about Aquaman?
So, let's see. If I were to give it a rating, I think I'd give this movie a 7.
Yeah. I'm so torn between this movie because part of me wants to give it a D, like it's barely there, and part of me wants to give it an A because it was so out of fucking control, and I feel like they totally knew how ridiculous everything about this movie was that they just played on it, and I think they played on it really well, but it's so ridiculous. Like, this is going to be a guilty pleasure movie for me, for sure. Like, it's not a good movie, but I had way too much fun watching it.
There's so many different things that happen. Like, at one point, there's dinosaurs. At one point, they're, like, going to the center of the earth.
Yeah.
At one point, they're...
It's
have, like, a...
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how all over the place this movie is. Yeah, like, at one point, they're, like, fighting in a Spanish village. And then at another part, we were like joking, and then I was like, it's like Raiders of the Last Trident. Where it's like, yeah, it's so everywhere. First off, though, let's just say how good the supporting cast was. The supporting cast in this movie was really good, dude. We had William Dafoe. We had the dude that's all in the Conjuring movies. I don't remember his name, but he did a good job. Yeah, the evil guy, the bad guy. We had Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Like... And since the supporting cast was so good, we should probably say how bad the starring cast is. Because, dude, thank God they were showing that girl's boobs, like major cleavage, throughout the whole movie, because it really distracted me by how, like, bad her acting was in this, and how, like, no chemistry that her and Aquaman had. Jason Momoa is just basically every single other role that Jason Momoa has been in this movie.
A hardcore badass.
Yeah. And I don't get what the hype with Jason Momoa is. I don't understand. Like, he's not that good of an actor. He really isn't. Like, I don't feel like he offers anything special other than just being really fucking handsome and buff. Man, when Aquaman comes out and he's finally in the Aquaman outfit, we looked at each other and fucking laughed out loud.
It was the very end
it
of
was
the movie.
So ridiculous looking. It was so ridiculous. But there's so many epic parts in the movie too. Like, there's a part where he's talking to like this giant fish monster, and like before they start talking, he's like fighting and stuff like that. I'm like, this is cool. Like, I don't mind this. Like, I'm really enjoying watching this. But
that thing looked That was like an underwater Godzilla.
Yeah, it was like an underwater Godzilla, but it was like a kraken at the same
Yeah, I
time.
guess.
Yeah, it was just like, well,
Maybe that's what it was.
well, that monster is like a good metaphor for this movie because this movie is like 17 different movies just put all together. And that monster was like, I'm a crab, and I'm Godzilla, and I'm a kraken,
And I have octopus
and I
arms.
talk too. And it was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm enjoying this. This is really engaging and fun. Like, it looked pretty. That's also something. Like, the whole thing looked really pretty.
You know,
like if
watching
you
this movie, maybe want to play Ark.
yeah, that's a good yeah. Like I would say like if you thought the Gungan city was the shit, then you're gonna love this movie. Because I remember watching the original, or not the original, Jesus Christ, the first trilogies of Star Wars, and be like, damn, this Gungan city looks cool. I mean, granted, I was very, very young at the time,
Yeah.
but that's how I was feeling when I was watching this. I was like, wow, this
pretty
actually
cool.
looks really, really cool. It looks good. All the visuals were dope. The fighting, there was a lot of fighting.
Oh, the whole movie.
The whole movie was fighting. And, like, the fighting scenes looked really good. All the fighting scenes looked cool. They had, like,
Except
really
for one.
wide-angled shots. And, like, they were playing little tricks with the camera. And all of it was really, really cool until it wasn't cool anymore because there was so much of it. It was, like, disappointing. I was like, fuck, man, I liked all
like
this.
the-
But, dude, it just doesn't stop.
The first fight scene with the bad guy in Aquaman.
Oh,
Like-
which bad guy?
Whenever they're inside the fire pit.
Because
thing.
we have, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on, the bad guys. So we have the cookie cutter generic bad guys. We have Revenge Man, and I'm going to destroy the world man.
Yep.
It's like, fuck, man, come on, we can't get anything better for Aquaman other than just the basic template bad guys that have been, like, in all the DC movies that we've seen.
Yeah, so one scene,
But-
they start fighting. He starts fighting his brother, ends up being, who's the king of Atlantis. And during the scene, it's like his face, and then they start fighting and start moving, and all of a sudden it's just a CGI face.
Yeah.
And it was like
The
super noticeable.
CGI was so distracting, very distracting. That's one thing I was saying too. I was like, that CGI hair and the capes
the very first
and
scene with the
everything was like, God.
I wanted to say horsey, but that's fucking Pokemon.
The horsey. No, it was those are sea dragons, not to be confused with sea
seahorse?
horses, because sea dragons. I know this because I watch way too much underwater documentaries, but sea dragons have all these things that grow off of them that work as camouflage, and that's what those things had. They had all those weird things that were kind of horny looking coming off of them. That's what sea dragons look like. Seahorses don't have any of that shit.
Yeah.
They were riding
The
sea
CGI
dragons because they're
sea
badass
dragon
mermaids.
CGI.
Yeah, like and the sharks. They had the sharks on like saddles, and the William Dafoe's character had like a great hammerhead that he was saddled
Yeah,
up
and then,
on and stuff.
The main guy had like a mosasaur.
Yeah, he was riding a mimosasaur. I was like, God, man, they don't stop with all this like
mimosasaur?
over the top things about this movie.
I want a mimosasaur.
I would love a mimosasaur, a mimosa right now. But it was nuts. And one of the things that we both noticed that like makes me appreciate this movie, that makes me like personally say that this is like a really, really good movie, is at one part they're in the Sahara Desert. Like I said, they go everywhere in this movie. But at one point they're in the Sahara Desert and they fall and the sand is sinking in. So Jason Momoa falls, and then the girl is like, "This is gonna be our king." Good grief. Golly gee.
Golly gee.
And then she jumps into the hole, and the hole like burps. I was like, they fucking know how stupid this movie is, and they're not gonna stop giving us stupid stuff. Like, I like this. Like, this is cool. Jump in. Like, really? So, I mean, fuck. It's very ridiculous. The
was.
whole movie is very, very ridiculous, but it was extremely entertaining. It was.
And there
Not
was so
without
much-
tons of plot holes, though.
Yeah, it was a very
Yeah.
predictable movie though. So if you're expecting any surprises and you're like, "Oh, Aquaman is gonna become the king of Atlantis," yeah, you're right. If you're gonna think, "Oh, Aquaman's mother is totally not dead," yeah, she's
Yeah.
totally not dead.
I know it was funny when we were driving back to film. we're like, it's going to be hard to spoil this movie because it's such a cookie cutter movie.
Yeah.
The person inside me that wants to do an analysis of the movie wants to give it a really bad score, but I enjoyed it a hell of a lot, and it's definitely going to be a guilty pleasure movie for me.
It was
so,
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things in it that I was like, I wasn't bored watching the movie.
no, I wasn't bored watching it at all. Other than like the prolonged fight scenes, I was starting to be like, "Fuck, come on!"
No,
like
I wasn't getting bored of the fight scenes. I don't think
there was
it was
a
just
shot.
like the little things where I was like, that looks like shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Dude, did this movie kind of like remind you of like Matrix Reloaded, the fight scenes? I was like really getting a fucking like early 2000s, late 90s like vibe of these fight
Because
scenes.
whenever
Like
he
I
had
was like,
his
oh
spear
my
and he, like,
god,
goes over the dude's face.
yeah. I mean, the speeding up and slowing down constantly in the fight scenes probably is why it made me feel like, damn, I feel like I'm watching The Matrix right now, which I wasn't upset about. Like I enjoyed it, but it was like, I felt like that was like an older way of filming fight scenes.
It's like some Jackie Chan kind of.
But but they had a scene where the Black Manta shows up and he's all geared out, and they have like the red guards from Star Wars or like his like entourage. So they have like this elite guard of Atlanteans that are basically like ripoffs of fucking the red guard from Star Wars, and there is a scene where one of the Red Guards guys, I don't know what they're called in the movie, so I'm just going to keep calling them the Red Guard. He's chasing after them, and he's like blowing through the walls, and the camera was just following him as he was like turning and breaking through a wall and turning, and then like zoomed out through a window to show her running on the roof. I was like, that was fucking cool. Like, I really liked that. Like I said, there's a lot of good camera work in the movie. It's just don't think about the movie hard, and you're not gonna feel weird.
Was a little...
That scene was long, dude. That
really
Manta, when they're fighting in Spain on the rooftops of Spain, after they go to the Sahara Desert to find the magic looking glass bottle, to go to the statues to find out which statue is the statue that holds the bottle, to see where they're supposed to go. I don't even remember why they were going to where. Was that where the Trident was supposed to be?
Why did they get a boat?
I know, and then she took a boat. Yeah, why did they take a boat? That they both swim fast as fuck. That makes no sense. Dude, that makes me sad. Because that scene was like my favorite movie. There's a scene in the trailer where they have all like these
creatures.
Like kinda like Cthulhu style like creatures. I don't know, they're like they're just creepy looking fucking sea creatures. Really, they're like humanoid looking. They have spikes and big old teeth, and they look really, really cool. Like I said, it looks like it would be something that like was in the world of like the Cthulhu realm. Like it reminded me of that, and that was like my favorite part of the movie. You know why? Because I'm a fucking sucker for blue backlighting and red flares, just like The Thing. That's what that reminded me of. I was like, God damn, this is like in The Thing where everything was that backlit, like neon blue, and they have a flare, and it just contrasts really cool. But yeah, why did they steal a boat? They're Atlanteans. Like, what? Doesn't make any sense.
Oh well. Don't forget, guys.
Like.
Comment.
Subscribe.
Don't forget to turn on that bell notification for anything new we have coming out.
Run naked through the streets. Say our name.
Do that too.
Say my name, say my name.
I'm Drew.
I'm Core.
See you next time.
Adios, man. This fucking movie was insane.
Ricola.
Yeah.
Ricola. Do they have the same?
Fuck it. It does. It sounds hella the same.
Do they have the
Red
same?
Robin. Ricola. On that big ass horn in the mountains.
I think you're right.
Ricola. Be like, what's up, guys? I guess. Put the trailer on the beginning. Just be stupid with it. Alright.